This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99, reaching out to the diaspora, Ronnie Thwaites and Pearnel Charles, bridging the differences, and welcoming Dr. Leachim Semaj. How are you, sir?
Alive and well.
That's good.
Dr. Leachim Semal, how are you, sir? I
Chief.
think I have told Mr. Thwaites that I had the privilege of going to the same university that
Really?
accommodated you. You're a
The
city
University
college.
of Harlem, City
Yes.
College.
You're a city college man, I understand.
Leahcim Semaj, president of Above and Beyond and quantum transformational psychologist and management consultant. Leahcim Semaj, the world, but particularly our world, Jamaica, is wrestling now with the recovery from the fourth surge of COVID, this one named Omicron, and the pressure is on to remove all of the protocols and the health considerations. It's vexed in Jamaica because there are some prominent people, who want it to happen right away, despite the fact that there's only 27% of our people vaccinated. What do you think?
I have a suggestion as to how we could possibly do it, but I want to preface it by three basic statements. One, when you look globally at this process, we're all in the same storm, but not the same boat.
Okay.
Right?
I like that.
Me too.
Some people have some big, and our boat kind of small, all right?
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is that you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality.
Okay. You can
Gravity
ignore
works whether you believe it or not.
Right. Okay.
The third one now applies to probably both of you because you're both within government.
Yeah.
Anything that occurs in the public space, if it is not regulated, it will have to be subsidized.
Anything explain that one for me now.
No, anything that takes place in the public space. Say,
Right.
for example, how people drive on the road.
Right.
If we don't regulate it,
Yes. Okay, follow
we're
you.
going to have to pay for it later on.
When the accident take place, when they
Yeah, we have not regulated squatter settlements and informal settlements,
Right.
and we're paying for it now.
Right.
All right, so let's get back to the issue in question now. All right, what do we do about vaccinated versus unvaccinated? How do we open up? What do we do? Mandate or choice? I see the pressures as a psychologist. I see the pandemic stress. I see the pressures as a businessman. I also see the pressure on the economy. But one has to be very careful. Here's a model that I'm postulating now for further thought. What if, remember now, we have to, if you're going to open up a situation, there are risks involved. What about if we seriously think of all the risk and see what could we put in place? In the same way that insurance companies look at risk, what is the risk of you doing this and a problem occur? So if I apply for a license to open up my venue, now, I do believe that there's a risk factor involved for persons attending. If the persons attending are all unvaccinated, the risk factor is one level. So what if we had insurance premium now that would now take this into consideration so that a fund is generated to pay for the consequences of the risk of opening up? So that if I have a hotel and I want that everyone can come to my activities at my hotel, if you are unvaccinated, you would probably pay a higher premium than the person is vaccinated and boosted, because the risk factors are not the same. The data tells me that if those who are vaccinated and also wear a mask and are sanitized and social distance are at a much lower risk than those who have none of the above.
Leahcim, hold on a second. On that point, you're getting technical, but can I just give you some statistics, Pearnel, Leahcim, that I came across just before the program. The Center for Disease Control in the United States this morning, okay? Now, I consider them a reputable body. Some people think not, but I think they are, okay? Their statistics throughout the United States say that for 18-year-olds, that's young adults, yes? If you are unvaccinated, you have a 16 times more chance of getting COVID. If you are over 65 and you are unvaccinated, you have a 50 times more chance of getting COVID than if you are vaccinated. And in any age group, if you are unvaccinated, you have a 20 times more chance of dying from COVID. So what more we need, Dr. Semaj?
Before you answer, can I add one?
Yes, Pearnel.
I understand that in Jamaica, all the people who have died, 90% of them never took the vaccine.
Yeah.
And they die of the virus.
Right. And you have reputable medical people who are saying, well, since if you're vaccinated, you can still get it. What do I say? It no matter? Help me, Doc.
No, that can't be right.
No, but it does say.
They are breakthrough cases.
Yes.
You can be infected even after you have any kind of vaccine, but the consequences are very different.
Right.
Risk. That's why I keep using the word the risk.
Got you.
What are the risks involved? And the risks that you articulated a while ago, Ronnie, are accurate.
Yes.
Now, if we are going to give people the choice of acting in such a manner, who then is going to ameliorate? Who is going to pay for the risk?
You, Pearnel, and me.
Well, that's why I'm proposing then. And
I am objecting because I'm not paying for you if you don't take it and get it.
So what I'm saying now, that's what I'm saying now. The cost of the ticket to attend the event would include the insurance premium.
Yes.
And persons pay premium as a function of the risk factor that they will be.
I understand that point, and it's ingenious. I don't know who would underwrite that, but never mind. Let's go a step further, though, because even if with that risk premium, yes, what if I take what is generally recognized as being a protective step, that is to be vaccinated? What right do you have to exercise your choice not to be vaccinated, and you therefore are more vulnerable? And you want to monks up yourself at the event side of me? When I'm doesn't every right, Dr. Semaj, this thing goes deep, beyond COVID.
Right comes with responsibilities.
Well, thank you, sir. Whoa, Pearnel,
and consequences.
Yeah. Let me tell
you, first of all, let me declare my position.
Yeah.
No matter how these things are open, I am not attending any such event.
No.
Because I am fully vaccinated and boosted, all right?
Me too.
But I accept the consequences of my own behavior.
Right.
And if you are not able to guarantee that the rest of people who are attending with me are equivalent, and my risk now will be increased because if I'm now surrounded by persons who are more than likely to be shedding the virus, I take that responsibility for myself. I am not attending. Recently, a friend invited me to their house. But the way the invitation was structured, it sounded like it's a big gathering they're having. I called to query to be very specific. If it was a big gathering, even though it's a house function and so on, I would politely say, no, thank you. He says, no, it's just you and your wife I'm invited. I said, that's different because I know I can vouch for our status. And I know your status.
Sure.
So the four of us having dinner clearly is a risk that I am willing to take.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, Ronnie, why I raised the question of an insurance premium, I'm just trying to find a way to reason it out with all the parties concerned. So that if you are in the entertainment thing, you want to open a venue, you want to allow 100 people to come in, who will be responsible that risk premium.
No, but it's not 100 people even. The 100 people is modest. What certainly the hotel industry and some very well-known people in Jamaica, you saw them pictured in the Observer yesterday, along with yourself, are saying, open the damn thing. We want to have 30,000 in the arena. And we need to fill up the hotels to 100%. In a way
I'm
that
putting that in the mix then, whatever it is. Now, what is the risk premium?
Yeah.
Look, we have actuaries who can do the calculation.
They do. I don't know who would underwrite it because
No, but hold on. I every time I step out of my house, and every one of us, I do the calculations. The only public, right. Once a month approximately, I go on an airplane. I do that very carefully and very cautiously.
Right.
Most time I wear 2 masks. As I get off the plane, I dump the mask in the garbage. I sanitize my hands a number of times when I'm on the plane. I don't touch nothing. 2 weeks ago, I had to travel locally, and I needed to get a car and driver. I said to the company, I want a driver who is vaccinated. Yeah. And he must wear his mask for the entire trip, as I'll be wearing my mask for the entire trip.
Well, and I hope they come.
Let me throw one at you. I'm a union man. Here is a company that have 210 workers. 150, 170 has taken the vaccine. Let us split it. Let's say 200. 100 has taken the vaccine. 100 said them not take no vaccine. The 100 that has taken the vaccine say to the manager, sir, we are afraid to work with those who have not taken the vaccine because the top scientists of the world, the top medical professionals, the top psychologists and psychiatrists have advised me that taking the vaccine protects my life. So I am not working with those people who are not. So the manager is in trouble now because 100 take it, 100 don't. Him don't have no business.
Well,
he has to now decide to either lay off the 100 who don't take it. That's a consequence. Lay off the 100 who has taken a consequence. So he said to me, Mr. Charles, if the government has just said everybody must take this thing, we'll take it, Because guess what? People who not taking it don't know why.
Well, if
I've heard a man who haven't been not even to high school outlining the steel that this liquid is going to form in his body and come to one place that it can attract steel from outside in such a way that you don't believe the man is a professor.
So Leahcim Semaj, want to go to the deeper thing now, because many people, for whatever reasons, economic reasons, ideological reasons, do not accept that for every right there is some responsibility correlative to it, Doctor.
That's where we have to know, that's where the rubber hits the road.
Yeah.
We have to really, and the question, there's always a responsibility and always a consequence. The question is, who will bear it?
Yeah,
Will you bear it? By default, remember one of my premises, Ronnie, anything that takes place in the public sphere, if not regulated, it will have to be subsidized.
So Dr. Semaj, when we come back from the break then, let us understand how we're going to attempt to put forward very humbly some precept to society that says if you're going to be, if you're going to claim your rights, which all of us want to, that in fact there is some responsibility, and you can't just fire back and say slavery done our man free. Who you for tell me what to do?
And Ronnie, let Leachim say to us when we come back, whether I'm going to say to the manager, listen, you insure my 100 man them, who take it, and if any of them sick, you're responsible for that.
I tell you, big questions on the public eye, always on the bridge, soon come. We're talking about personal rights and personal responsibilities. Dr. Semaj, Chief Charles was asking in that example he gave about the business owner with some vaccinated and some not. Who going to pay for your insurance? Who must pay for testing? Because you have a whole heap of man who will send me, I'm free. I don't have to do all those things. That's your responsibility if you want me to do it. Except, Dr. Semaj, when the lineup to get a visa, because at that point, Everybody keep them out and take the jab.
Again, exactly. And you notice that when late last year, when the United States made a decision that everyone traveling to the US must be vaccinated, that was a game changer for many, many people.
It was.
A lot of people just quieted. You heard the report yesterday that over 400 nurses left last year for the United States.
Yeah.
And it was alluded to in the discussion that a lot of those same nurses had refused to be vaccinated in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. But once the opportunity came to go to America,
they're vaccinated.
They worked the program right away.
Yeah.
Now, you see, in my work, Ronnie, and I've shared this with the Medical Association, I've shared this as widely as I possibly can. I see vaccine hesitancy as a cognitive disorder.
A cognitive disorder? What is that? Some kind of madness?
No.
Well, no, just a distorted thinking.
You make up your mind that you don't care what happened. Although the advice come from the doctors and the scientists that we have spent billions of dollars, millions of hours, top-class people sat down and like we do for all the other viruses that have hit us in the past, we have done for this. What happened?
Is that what you mean, Leahcim?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we came out of 4 years of misinformation, alternate facts. You can have your own truths, disparaging science, using the most powerful office in the world to do it, with the most powerful media to do it.
Yeah,
it has taken its toll on the world.
That's Trump.
Normally, less than 5% of people are vaccine resistors.
Yeah.
In most situations.
Yeah.
And they do so for philosophical or religious reasons. But now, what we're seeing in Jamaica, my estimate is that the majority of Jamaicans who are vaccine hesitant have no valid reason to do it. That's one of the reasons why what I have done for a number of companies is I will reason with the staff on your behalf. Now, politicians reasoning with Jamaicans about change is not the best, because 80% of Jamaicans do not trust politicians.
What?
The data shows us that 80% of Jamaicans
Pearnel, get real.
Do not trust politicians.
Yeah. Well,
one side or the other.
Not all politicians are politicians.
Anyway, wait. Make him finish your point.
Oh, no, we know that. Look here, there are some politicians who people don't even see them as politicians because they don't, no, you don't like the rest of them. But whether we like it or not, to transform behavior. Now, again, both of you are politicians as such. When politicians want to convince people of something to get it done, they do not rely on press releases and press conferences.
That's right.
They get down in the trenches. They go house to house, community to community. They identify who are the key persons in the community and reason with them. What we have done to a large extent is rely on press release and press conferences. That does not change behavior. But when you start to reason, I had a wonderful discussion this morning with Michael Abrams, and he gave me a case where a friend of his who was totally against the vaccine, and he explained the reasoning that went through between both of them over a period of time. At the end of it, the man said, Mike, I'm going to get it next week. Because each person, there are 12 different cognitive disorders that people are working on to prevent them from taking it. Now, you have to diagnose and know which one is fueling them. You can't just give them logic. You can't just give them reason, because what they have done, they have mixed pieces of facts with a special secret sauce that only them know. So you can't use logic and reason. You have to literally reason with them almost one-on-one to see where they're. Now, if you notice that a very small intervention was done by SMA, Spectrum Management Authority, and they offered the persons a phone card and a KFC voucher. The first go around, 150 people turned up to be vaccinated. The second go, over 800 turn up. You know why that is? Most people who are vaccine hesitant gentlemen, have no good reason not to take it.
No reason at all.
But you give them a good reason to take it. You get a phone call. And it doesn't have to be an expensive reason. Because they can say, well, I really want to take it, you know. But and let me give you two other ways that we have not worked with the possibility.
But let me pause you right there and ask you. If all of this is good, and we want to hear the other two and more. But if you're looking at public policy now, to say that it is wrong to discriminate, use that term with all it implies, against those who decline for whatever reason, can that be reasonable argument, Dr. Semaj? It's been used against you.
The wording was the problem. The wording discriminate conjures up some emotional valence which triggers.
Yeah.
Listen, emotions are more transmissible faster than any virus. Emotions are more contagious than any virus. So that if you're about to say something and you use a word that triggers a negative emotion, everything else you say after that is blocked. So that was a mistake to use that word.
Okay.
Once you do it, you don't double down after that. No, what you do now, you clarify. I don't really mean discriminate. I mean differentiate. In the same way that, and we can give you many examples.
Sure. But when you're...
Two examples I use yesterday in my broadcast. One, helmets and seat belts. We encourage people to use seat belts and helmets on motorcycles. And we differentiate between if you ride with a helmet, it's a very, very different probability. And if you notice how, if you fill out an insurance application for insurance, they ask you some basic questions about your lifestyle. Do you drive race cars? Do you ride motorcycles?
Are you politically exposed? You know that one.
That's a very interesting one. That's part of our reality. Are you politically exposed? Yes, I know that term. Your premium goes up.
Your premium goes up. Not only you, let Mr. Charles and I cry on your shoulder. Your wife premium go up. Your picnic children go up. Yes, you're made some kind of economic leper because your daddy politics.
Yes.
Anyway.
Exactly. So that's what those are the risk factors we're dealing with.
That's what we do to ourselves. But when you're talking about a national policy now, I'm anxious to hear more of the ways in which we can persuade. But if I were in government, I would be scratching my head because here is the Minister of Tourism. Yes, trying his best, I'm sure. And he's saying, look here, we could really revive the tourist industry if we had a higher level of vaccination. Yes? And yet you have prominent people who preceded us on the program today, people in high offices like Mr. Stewart and Dr. Gentleman who you mentioned, all of these, Mr. Epstein, saying it's discrimination. People have a right to choose. And if you want to say they can't come to this or I'm not attending that alongside with you, you who want to be careful, you who have been victimized, become the victim. You are made to be the aggressor of human rights. That is perverted thinking. That is a cognitive disorder, sir.
There's a choice.
That's why
there's a choice.
Yeah.
If you want to work with me,
yeah,
you have to take the vaccination.
No, but they're saying...
If you have a choice, you either come to work or you don't come to work.
But they're saying, many of those people are saying, no, it's the other way around, Mr. Charles. If you don't want to associate with me who exercise my right not to be vaccinated,
mustn't come in.
You take care of yourself. Leahcim, we are thinking upside down.
And that's why I'm saying that.
Give us a psychological name, Leahcim.
Distorted thinking. Distorted thinking.
That's a serious thing, you know.
That can kill you.
That's why I'm saying that we have to identify. That's why I went the route of insurance, because we understand insurance. What are the risk factors? Are there not activities where you are asked to sign a disclaimer?
Yes.
That I assume all risk.
Yes.
And if anything happened to me, I hug it up.
Don't check for it.
So we have to start raising that kind of discussion. So that if persons insist on certain actions, they cannot immunize themselves from the consequence of those actions. So that's why I use the language of insurance, premium level, risk level, so that we broaden the discussion. I said to the powers that be from the very beginning, I reached out to Dr. Tufton and said 2 years ago, what we have is a behavioral problem, long before we get a medical problem. If the behavioral problem of mask, that's behavior. Sanitize, that's behavior. Social distance. Ronnie, if any place, if that was done, the virus wouldn't last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Behavior. Just do what you mask, sanitize, social distance. No, we didn't do that. So now the virus had room to multiply and morph and morph and morph.
Yeah.
We have a vaccine now, which gives us another choice, another chance.
Right.
It is still a behavior.
Yeah.
The behavior to take it or not to take it.
Yeah.
So that we still are in the position, we really have to get past the cognitive bias by any means necessary.
Doctor, I walk into my office and there were at least 25 women and some had children with them. And one person convinced them that they are not to take it. So I came in and one said, Mr. Charles, you want to hear what you have to say? I said, all right, lift up your sleeve.
Sleeve.
And let me see your left hand. Oh, what is that scar? Why, as my mother did carry me. Everybody took their vaccination. And one woman said, mine did dead, and they said, no, go take it again. So it's twice me take. No, look at it. Is it then that there was a law? Is it then that it was said, you must get your vaccination and hand the vaccination paper to the principal before you can come in? And everybody took it.
At what stage is a public concern, a public imperative, like fighting a pandemic, like reacting to a fire, a volcano, a hurricane, anything? At what point does the state have the right to say, with appropriate proportionality, look here, you are obliged to do the following or not to do the following? Dr. Semaj, this is a live issue.
The state always has, in fact, a state has a monopoly on certain activities. And if you're a part of that state, you are under the jurisdiction of that. So it's not a matter that, well, then persons just do what they feel like. There's always the collective responsibility, the collective good, and you balance that with individual choices. There are parameters where you can operate totally within your preferences, but once it impacts your neighbor, it impacts on the society. Is that you're not free to drive on whatever side of the road you prefer.
No.
Again, there are consequences, there are risk, and all of that must be. You see, what's happened, that populism, which has identified a number of countries, have gotten caught up in this.
Yeah.
One of my papers that I did last year, and I did a video based on it, looked at leadership on the coronavirus.
Okay.
The 7 countries that have had the best impact are all headed by women.
Yeah.
And both in Iceland and
New Zealand,
the Prime Minister, what the Prime Minister first did, she arranged a national press briefing via media to children. She said, I want to talk to the children. And she explained to the children what the virus was and what the consequences are, and took questions from the children. Because once you explain things to children, children will explain to their parents. And that's how she broke the back of the whole thing. Talk to the children. Explain in the language that children can understand. So we haven't even touched that, because what has happened is that the resistance, and since much of it is not deep-seated, It is being pushed by a few conspiracy theorists and individuals, but the data is overwhelming that we have, so the state has to hold hard in. But my suggestion now, if we start discussing the risk factor, the premium that different risks will bear, and we say now, who will bear what part of the risk? Look, when you, in many jurisdictions, if a child, a 17-year-old child getting a driver's license and applies for insurance for the car, the premium is 5 times that of a 35-year-old male or female.
Yeah.
Because the actuarial tables tells us that that represents a higher level of risk. That 17-year-old just getting a driver's license, male especially, is a different risk profile. And either you want the insurance, which you must get the insurance, but the state says you must have insurance to drive. So I'm saying that it is not much different. The state has to hold its position, but explain the risk factor and the proportional risk and who will pay the premium.
Let me ask you a far-reaching question before we run out of time. It is this. Do you think, or how do we educate our people surging for freedom, coming out of a history and circumstances of where personal freedom, movement, all these things have been largely circumscribed by all kinds of reasons? How do you educate them towards a perception of a deep appreciation for the common good as the cornerstone of social order, Dr. Semaj?
Slowly, carefully, cautiously, and involving the arts and the storytellers and the media, all the things. Let me give you a quick example. There was a song that Mikey Bennett wrote from about South Africa. You remember that song? Can you swim on the beach you want to? Can you stay out late at night? And Brian and Tony Gold, Jamaican, sung that song over 20 years ago. Big hit.
Yeah.
But they were describing life in South Africa.
Yeah.
No, that song came to life again when we heard the restrictions in Jamaica. You can't go to the beach. Beaches are closed. Rivers are closed. You can't go out late at night. But so yes, you're right. But somebody has to explain the relationship between rights and responsibilities. And in contrast to that in South Africa, it was based on race where you couldn't go to the beach and you can't. So that when we're talking about gathering, that's why I'm saying press conferences and press releases doesn't change behavior. Somebody needs to get to people where they live.
Let me boast one of you. And I think I said it to my colleague, Ronnie. If all the members of parliament, all the councillors, all the caretakers were instructed by their leaders to tell their constituency workers of this danger, we would go somewhere, because a large population of that, and the people have no reason
but you see, Pearnel, that should have been done from the beginning.
Exactly.
It's kind of hard now because positions have become calcified.
Yeah, but hold on now, brethren. Same
way that if you were on election footing, what you said a while ago, Pearnel, that's what you'd have done. All councillors, everybody would have been out there in the community.
But he said something else, which needs your comment. He says, suppose everybody, government and opposition, PNP and JLP, he meant. Yes? The key to effective or more effective public education, that exquisitely sensitive gradual process that Dr. Leachim Semaj just outlined, has a presupposition of some measure of national unity.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, no.
Let's go further with that one. The position articulated by P.J. Patterson.
Yeah.
That what's preventing us from becoming a republic is not having, we need to have a conversation between the leader of the opposition and the leader of the government that we are in this thing and we will go to the people together.
Yeah. But
Because
So
in
that
order for you to get
not
60%,
a one-upmanship.
exactly,
Well.
no party in Jamaica has ever got 60% of the vote, which is what will be required to go to become a republic. So both party leaders have to come together and would have to go to the public as one voice and say, listen, we are in full agreement. No, you are right. If we had this, we didn't have an opposition and government on this. Here is one voice where we are as a people. Nobody's going to try and score points and say, why? I am for freedom. No, I am for mandate. No. We are all in the same storm, but not the same boat.
Right. So
this is it's in my
that's what we
opinion.
stand for on the bridge, yeah?
This is, in my opinion,
Yeah.
a way, because the people who are not taking this thing don't have a reason.
Well,
They don't have a medical reason.
okay, but if you had, they would have less of a reason and less of an excuse. Yes, less
If
of a
the leaders-
pretext. If in fact they felt that there was a united front for the first time at last, as somebody else greater than I said. Yes, and if and Leahcim, as we close, if we were able to do that about COVID, where there really is no big difference, because the science must lead everybody. Yes, and the common threat. What a foundation this could be. What a springboard for other areas of national coalition.
The dominoes will start to fall.
Yeah, Doc.
The domino for crime, the domino for education, the dominoes would start to fall.
Yeah.
If we could show that common front in the face of, clearly, we have 3 existential threats in Jamaica now. One, COVID, the other is crime. Huh? So that if we don't get this right, folks, we are in trouble.
Is it too late?
It's never too late, but it's harder now. It's harder now, but it's never too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
Right, Leahcim, what if the hospitals are full and those who get COVID coming don't have the vaccination, and somebody who had an appointment and have their vaccination and is also on the verge of dying is told that they have to set back for somebody who have COVID who didn't take the vaccination, although you were begging them. This
Hard no.
what about donkeys about this thing, huh?
World no level.
World no level.
Medical triage doesn't allow for including political variance.
Yeah.
You see? and the reason, and that's why a lot of people are otherwise dying. People have had their cancer surgery
Sure. And
or their treatments put off for a year.
Yes, look at that. Death sentence.
But a lot of people are dying because of not being able to get ordinary treatment over the last 2 years.
Exactly.
Well,
and I heard somebody in their room just say a while ago, it's a true thing.
Yeah. Well,
If Mr. Golden and Mr. Andrew say,
yeah.
listen, all of my supporters are required. PNP,
We are saying.
JLP,
all
we are
Jamaicans,
saying
Yeah.
it is good for all of us.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning,
What a
we are
note
going to line up.
To end on.
Come with me.
Yes, come with you. That's it.
Come with me.
Leahcim Semaj, thanks for setting us straight. Plenty of good distinctions. Happy to have you on board. All the
My
best.
pleasure.
Good. Dr. Leahcim Semaj of Above and Beyond, quantum transformational psychologist. On